Hello, everyone. I hope you're keeping well. It's Paul here from the Open Mind Institute. If you've caught some of my recent videos, I've been talking on the 5 core human-centric skills that are really needed right now to thrive in this period of uncertainty. So far I've spoken about the importance of self-awareness and emotional regulation. I've spoken about emotional and social intelligence. The last video I covered critical thinking, right? An essential skill right now. Today I want to touch on adaptability. We'll do a deep dive on that very shortly. And in the next video, I propose talking about effective communication and the process of authentic relating. Now, uncertainty. How does our brain deal with uncertainty? Well, the evidence suggests not very well, because it has to work overtime when we are more or less in the realm of the unknown. You see, your brain needs vast amount of energy to perform at its optimal best. And when we are experiencing uncertainty, it has to work overtime. It is processing a whole lot quicker. It is ascertaining whether we're in danger. It is reaching conclusions, and more often than not, it is going to worst case scenario. Now, what's really interesting is that your brain prefers negative certainty, right? Negative certainty as opposed to uncertainty. Let that sink in. Your brain prefers negative certainty as opposed to uncertainty. And this was confirmed in 2 studies. One study, there was a group receiving these small electrical shocks, and the group that was receiving had confirmation that they were indeed going to receive these shocks, were less stressed than the group who were told there's a 50-50% chance as to whether you'll get it or not, right? That's fascinating. The other important thing, or study that I've come across, is that people who are on the verge of perhaps losing their job, or who are grappling with job insecurity, not knowing if they're about to lose their job, they are experiencing more negative mental well-being as opposed to the unemployed. So it's this state of unknowing. It's a state of not being sure as to what's going to happen next that's having a really negative impact. And I'm seeing it across my whole human ecosystem, the people I'm coaching, and just in general out there, right? We are really grappling with this prolonged period of uncertainty. Now, what can we do about it? I want to give you some tips, and this is really going to help you to adapt to the uncertainty. Is that even possible? It is. There's something called negative capability. Negative capability is really fascinating. It's about your ability to be capable when you are in the realm of the unknown, right? It's being okay with not having all the answers yet. It's looking at your situation through the lens of curiosity. Because here's one thing I know: when people are uncertain and we go to worst case scenario, the blinkers come on very quickly, and we are missing out on potential opportunity, right? There is opportunity throughout history. When humans have gone through great hardship, there is always great opportunity to be found. But the most of us, I would suggest 80% of people, we've got the blinkers on and we're missing out on potential solutions. So here's what we can do. I've got 5 tips for you to increase our adaptability, to increase our negative capability. So tip number 1 is leverage the lens of curiosity. Get curious about how your brain is processing the information that is coming into it. Yeah. And the way you can do that is observe it from a third-party perspective. See the process of going to worst case scenario as a protection mechanism. Yeah, create a degree of separation. That's my second tip. And the way you do that is you internally say to yourself, right, well, this is a part of me that is going to worst case scenario. Isn't that fascinating? Why is it doing that? Right? Let's examine that a little bit more. And that takes me to the third tip, which is distinguish between assumptions and facts, because we gravitate toward assumptions, and that leads to the worst case scenario. As a mentor once told me when I was working as a lawyer in London, he said, Paul, my boy, assumptions are the mother of all fuck-ups. And that stayed with me. That stayed with me because it is so true, right? Now, let's go to the next tip that I have for you, and that is seek out different perspectives. Right? There's a good chance you work in a human ecosystem and there's an organizational culture around you. Sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's not. There's a good chance you've got people when you come home. Leverage their perspective, challenge them to shift their perspective, get other points of view, other data points to construct your reality. And then that takes me to the last tip, and that is be selective as to the information you allow in. There is so much misinformation, right? All you got to do is switch on the news or, start scrolling on your phone. So be selective as to what you allow into your thinking space. When you encounter something negative, challenge it. Go looking for its polar opposite. And you do even just a handful of those 5 tips, and you will be on your way to becoming more adaptable in this period of uncertainty. That's it from me. Always keep an open mind, and we'll speak soon.